number of times already, but only in the airport. This is the first time I was able to get out of the airport. And so I'm very happy, even if the schedule is quite tight, and I forgive Father Pascal, that's okay. Because with only 3 days, we are able to meet different peoples, especially the Filipino community. At maraming salamat po sa inyo. Alam ko, may mga trabaho kayo, no? Pero nagtsaka kayo na hindi po giniginaw. Bahala na po si Lord sa kayo. Let me share some things that are still quite simple. First is about our mission, especially because tomorrow we mark the 400th anniversary of the death of Ukon Justo Takayama, Japanese, but who died in Manila. And his death is considered the death of a martyr. And then, but we also have San Lorenzo Ruiz de Manila, who died as a martyr here in Japan. So we have an exchange of gifts, and our gifts to each other is the gift of martyrdom. We have a Japanese martyr in the Philippines, have a Filipino martyr in Japan. What a good way to have a relationship centered on martyrdom. And that is my first point. Martyrdom. The word martyr, martyria in Greek, means witnessing. In our minds, a martyr is someone who suffers. But that is not necessarily the case. Someone who testifies to his or her faith is a martyr. Now, of course, when you testify to your faith, you will suffer. It is not always an acceptable reality to the world, the gospel, the message of Christ. So anyone who strives to be a good witness must be ready to experience rejection, pain, and in the case of Ukon, exile, sickness that led to death. In the case of San Lorenzo Ruiz and many others, physical death. Yeah. But the key is not just to suffer. The key is you witness. And in your witnessing, you are ready to embrace suffering. Not every suffering is martyrdom. If a child cheats in class, in an exam, and is caught cheating and was punished, don't call that child a martyr. And say, the child is suffering, he is or she is a martyr. No, he or she is a cheater. And if he or she suffers, he is suffering the effect of a bad choice or a bad decision. Women, if your husband physically abuses you, don't call yourself, I am a martyr. No, you are a victim. That's not martyrdom. Sometimes the word martyr is used so loosely every ordinary suffering is considered martyrdom, even when the suffering is not anymore connected to the witness of faith. So, we don't wish suffering on anyone. But if you are a good witness of the faith, be prepared to suffer. It is like loving. When you love, you can bear many things. You are not looking for pain, but if you love, the pain becomes bearable. I see many heads nodding. So you must have experienced love. Really, huh? That's the same. You love, and when you love, you are prepared for pain and suffering. The same, when you are a good witness, you do not give up witnessing to the faith, even if it means dying. That's the greatness of Ucon, the greatness of Lorenzo Ruiz, the greatness of Pedro Calungsod, and the many other martyrs who were subjected to death instead of denying their faith. To deny Jesus is to stop becoming a witness. So, when we celebrate the feast of San Lorenzo Ruiz, September 28, and I recall the pain, the torture, and the last opportunity. No? Okay, you can be set free if you deny that you are a Christian. Sometimes I try to imagine myself, what if I were Lorenzo Ruiz and I see the spear already there, no? And the one last chance. If you deny Jesus, you will live. You will not die. Maybe I'll just say, a joke only. Joke. I'm not a Christian. I'm just joking. When you see that, and then I will tell myself, I will just go to confession later. Yeah, it's frightening, huh? It's frightening. But look at the greatness of people like Ucon and Lorenzo. They say, like Lorenzo, he said, yes, I am a Christian. And if I had 1,000 lives, I will give all for Christ. Wow. I will not be stingy. This is just one life. But if I have 1,000 lives, all of them, I will give for Christ. Yeah. That is grace. That is a blessing. That is the strength that comes from God. We cannot produce that. And so we continue that mission. The mission to witness to Christ. It will not be easy. Bishop Otsuka said it's not always easy in Japan to witness to faith. But Bishop, not only in Japan, anywhere, it is not always easy to witness to the faith. That's why we need to ask God for that grace, the strength. You, extra human, it is divine strength. It's a divine gift. But we have to do our share. And I am encouraging all of us, especially our Filipino, not only missionaries, ordained and religious, but you, dear lay people, you are also called to be missionaries, to witness to the beauty, the joy, and the truth of our faith. Sometimes we can witness through words. You can speak about Jesus. But sometimes you cannot. But that does not mean you stop witnessing to Christ through your attitudes, through your values, through your joy, through your simplicity, through the quality of your relationships, through your caring for the little ones, for the poor, through your compassion, through your compassion and mercy towards others. People already have the gospel being proclaimed to them, if not through words, but through living action. I said to the communities in Sendai last night and in Tokyo this morning, I want to remind you, my brothers and sisters from the Philippines, you come to Japan looking for jobs. And that is okay, and that is noble. But do not forget, you come to Japan not just for jobs. You are here also for a mission. The mission to testify to the truth of Jesus wherever you are. In your workplaces, on the buses, the families, the neighborhoods. It will not be easy. But just continue doing it with simplicity, in silence, in joy, but with conviction. Especially joy. Pope Francis, in his last writing, talked about the joy of the gospel. The joy that the gospel, because the gospel is good news. How can you be the bearer of good news and you look sad? Huh? So we witness to the gospel from the heart. We know that it is good news. We know that Jesus is good news. We know that encountering Jesus is one of the best things that could have ever happened in our lives. And so we are happy. And we show that. We show that. Don't minimize that. And this is not just the joy of having eaten, after so many years, now I have eaten again. Dinuguan. Oh, the joy of dinuguan. Oh. Not that type of joy, or the joy your boss gave you, how do you call this, a bonus, and you were able to go shopping for the whole day. So, oh, the joy. No. After shopping, the credit card will after eating dinuguan, your cholesterol will go up. No, not that type of joy. No? The joy, the silent but deep joy, no? That makes people wonder, why are they happy? I'm telling you this because it was part of my experience. When I was a student of theology in Viola School of Theology in the Ateneo de Manila, we had a classmate, a woman from Korea. I saw a microphone. Where was I? From Korea. And she enrolled to study theology and even a master's degree in theology. But when she came to Manila, she had very little English. And wow, all of a sudden you study theology. She did not even know the word soap or rice. And all of a sudden you will study the Bible and all of these high words in English. No, she really suffered. So we, the seminarians, we decided to help her. So every day, one seminarian would sit beside her, and we would help her, translate to her in simple English, or after class to help her with her notes. But she was very diligent. She opened the library, she closed the library. She was a model to all of us. While seminarians were sleeping in class, like me, I always slept in class. And we, took the courses for granted. But this woman, she knew her capacities were limited, but she worked hard. And finally, she was able to write her thesis, master's thesis. And we attended her defense. And we told her, if a professor asks a difficult question you cannot answer, just give us a signal. We will make noise so that the teacher will not hear your answer. We were already planning those very bad things. But she survived. As after the defense, there was a reception, cheese and wine. When we were enjoying, we asked her, "Lei, we do not know your life story. Why did you come to Manila? And why did you study theology?" And you suffered a lot, not just the language, the food, the climate. And then she told her story. She said, "I was a Buddhist. I was a nurse in a hospital in Korea. And she said, while working in that hospital, I noticed a group of doctors and nurses, and many of them are Filipinos. I noticed that they would always come together during the break, during lunch, and on some occasions, they shared food. They're like brothers and sisters. And they're very happy together." So she asked around, well, what is that group? Why are they always together? And why are they happy? Why do they eat a lot? Why do they... And somebody told her, they are Christians. They are Christians. They're Catholics. She has heard about Christians, but her knowledge is not that deep. And so she Christians. And the person told her, they are followers of Jesus Christ. And she said, at the back of her mind, said, if following Jesus Christ makes you a good person and a happy person, I want to know Jesus Christ. So she went to this group and presented herself. And they brought her to the parish. She went through the religious instruction. for adults. And she was baptized on Easter Vigil. And the beautiful description, she said, that community, they attended my baptism. And the way she described it, said, they were like the womb that gave birth to me. They were like the womb that gave birth to me. You see, joy, cheering, was louder than and more effective than any words. The last time I saw her was in Thailand. The year 2000. I saw her and I said, wait a minute. I think she was my classmate. So I approached her and she said, oh, Chito, do you remember me? Of course I remember you. Many hours. I will forget you. Of course I remember. And then, she said, what are you doing here? Because it was the meeting of the Asian bishops. And for the Jubilee. And she said, I am the theological consultor of my bishop. But you see, why am I telling you this? Look at the journey, as the song, what a journey it has been. And it started with seeing a group that looked loving, joyful, and Jesus was already calling her, and now she is a theological consultant. Do it here in Japan. Build community. Go beyond the petty little quarrels. There are more important things than our tampuhan and our bickerings. Look at the larger picture. Look at the mission. And look at the opportunities that get lost because we devoted so much energy, time, and words to things that do not communicate Jesus to other people. That is our responsibility. You were sent to Japan not just for work, but to witness, to be missionaries, the way Ukon and Lorenzo Ruiz were missionaries. Malino ba yun? Was that clear? Wow. What does the clap mean? Let me add one more point. So this is the first. It is the introduction, actually. I think I was communicating not only to you but also to myself. As we all need to be reminded, wherever we are, we need to witness to Christ. After the Synod of Bishops in Rome last October, I came back November. After a few days, I went to the United States, and then I came back. After one night, I went to Bangkok. So there was a time when I was so tired and confused. And I said, what am I? Am I a bishop? Am I a traveler? Am I a scholar? They asked me to give talks, and I had to do research. And when I go to the airports, people ask for photos, and I am really strong. What am I? I'm getting confused. No? And going to Bangkok that afternoon, I was really tired, and I was asking myself, what are you doing? What am I supposed to be? So I boarded the plane, and because of my tiredness and confusion, I fell asleep right away. But I noticed that there was a white woman, a Caucasian woman next to me. Then we were about to land, and the woman started talking with me. She said, it was a nice flight. I don't want to talk, I'm tired and confused. So I said to her, yes, it's a good flight. And then she said, where are you going? Where else? Bangkok! This flight is going to Bangkok! But I didn't answer her that. Saan ba? Sa Tokyo? Philippine Airlines to Bangkok. And they were asking me. So I said, well, Bangkok, and then I go to Wahil. And I said, you're going to Wahil. And he said, you came from the Philippines. I asked her, what did you do in the Philippines? He said, my father died. He said, my father, obviously, he said, I am an American, but my father and my mother separated. And after that, my father went to the Philippines, enjoyed it there, found a Filipina, whom he married, and the woman took care of my father, and my father died. So I went to the funeral. I said, I'm sorry. Then she said, I really hate flying. I do not want to travel. So because of that, I decided to live already in Bangkok. I don't want to go back to the States. It's just because of the death of my father that I was forced to fly. And I said, I cannot blame you. It's tiring. And he said, but I saw your cross. And when I saw it, my fear disappeared. And I thought to myself, we will be safe. We will be safe. And then she said, I am not a Catholic. But your cross assured me. And she said, you look tired. You were snoring. But look, I was tired and confused, asking, what am I supposed to do with my life? But even when you are tired, even when you're snoring, you can witness. You can witness. I did not know that girl was filled with fear, was trembling, was afraid to fly. But even in your silence, you can witness to the peace, the calm. So I thanked her. I said, it is providential that, because I did not tell her the story that before boarding the flight, I was, now the answer came. And it was a dialogue. The cross that I was wearing consoled her. And she was able to console her. Mission. Which brings me to the last point. Pope Francis just visited the Philippines. You probably saw on TV and so it was a grace-filled 5 days. And we will probably spend more years trying to relish and to savor the significance of this. There are many, many important elements, but I want to share with you one. And if I have time, maybe two stories that I saw firsthand. Because some events were not covered by the media. Those were encounters of the Pope with some people, especially those who are suffering, in order to witness to the joy, the consolation that Jesus brings. When we went to Tacloban, a typhoon met us. But the Holy Father was very kind. He said, maybe the typhoon came and it was meant for him, because he has never experienced a typhoon. So it's the first time. So he said, well, the Lord allowed me to experience this so that I can understand better the suffering of the people. I told him, and this is even a normal typhoon. Only 70 kilometers. Come back. This is something that, if not for you, probably we would not be as worried as we are. Yeah. Part of the program was for the Pope to have Mass in Tacloban and then have lunch with 30 survivors of the typhoon and the earthquake in Bohol. I was asked to join them for lunch so that I could translate for the Pope. So I got there earlier and we practiced. I saw the 30 people. I said, okay, this is the question that I will ask. So how will you answer? Oh, that's too long. But already listening to them, I was getting affected already. So the suffering of these people. How much they've suffered. Then the Pope came. And the Vatican security said, you cannot have 1 hour. 10 minutes is enough. Because we have to go back to Manila. I said, wow, and you have 30 people. How can they tell their story? So in Filipino, I told them, no more long stories. Only one question. I will ask each one of you, whom did you lose? Who died in your family? Or what did you lose? So one by one, the first was a little girl. Said, I lost my parents and all my brothers and sisters. I now live with a friend of my mother. Then the next, I lost my husband, etc. So everyone I lost these members. And the one woman, I lost my husband, my son, and 5 daughters. You can almost hear the Sendai stories over and over again. And then when we reached the people from Bohol, the earthquake, 2 of them raised their hands to wave at the Pope. And, hi, Pope, but there is no more arm. And all the while was listening to them, I was whispering to the Pope what they were saying, and I could hear the Pope would just say, oh. He was suffering too. He allowed the suffering of the people to really enter his heart. And I was also controlling my tears and my emotions. I was telling myself, Chito, your role is to ask their questions, ask them questions to translate their answers, not to. But the Vatican photographer afterwards approached me and said, I was afraid that you would just start crying. But who would not be affected? Who would not be affected by all of this? No? And then at the end of it, I asked the Holy Father, do you want to say something to them? No? And he said, what can I say? What can I say? In those moments of silence. And then he apologized to the people that the 1 hour lunch was reduced to 10 minutes. But there was one man there, I forgot his name, he said, "Oh, don't worry, Holy Father. Even without lunch, we're already happy because you came to us. You are with us. The joy that you brought." The personal encounter. And then he said, only one request, Holy Father. Please pray for our beloved dead, our departed. And the Holy Father promised right away, yes, yes. My Mass tomorrow in Umeda will be for your relatives, friends who died. And when we were leaving the room, the Holy Father whispered to me, "Oh, what faith! The faith of these simple people." He could not believe that they are still standing, they could still be energetic, that they could withstand another typhoon. And when he heard that we get an average of 20 to 22 typhoons a year, wow, said, the strength of these people. So he came to bring the joy of the gospel. But what did I see? I saw him receiving the witness of faith coming from the simple people. He came not only as a teacher, he came as a learner. He looked at the poor and suffering people as his teachers, teaching him what believing and hoping really mean. It's witness, this exchange. You know that one girl died in Tacloban. A volunteer. When the storm, the typhoon, Yolanda set in, there were many volunteers, and she was one. And the scaffolding fell and she died. The day after the trip to Tacloban, after the encounter with the youth in UST, the University of Santo Tomas, the father of the girl who died met with the Pope privately. And I was asked to join them again to translate, the father of Christelle. It was a moving encounter. Just some photograph, and then we were left alone. And again, the Holy Father was speechless. What do you say to a father that just lost a daughter? So when there was silence, and I noticed that the Holy Father did not want to start the conversation, that silence was better. I asked the father of Christelle, do you have any message to the Pope? And he said, Christelle is my only child. So when I heard the news of her death, it really almost killed me. Very painful. And my wife works in Hong Kong. Another OFW, a Filipino worker, said, my life revolves around Christelle. I take care of her. Now that she is gone, I don't know what to do with my life anymore. Then he added, before the coming of the Pope, I already decided that I will just watch on TV the papal visit, because I do not want to join the big crowds. So I had already decided I will follow the papal visit, the events, only on TV. Then he said, my daughter died. And because of her death, I am now face to face with the Pope. Not just on TV, but face to face. A blessing that came with a tragic death. Then he said, maybe my daughter arranged this meeting from heaven. When I told that to the Pope said, oh, I cannot believe this faith. This faith. So, you look at the power of witnessing. This man, simple man, grieving, suffering, witness. To whom? To the Pope. The Pope learned from him. So even the Pope needs witnesses. So let us all work together in this mission. There are many suffering people. Even in your suffering, do not stop witnessing. Even when you are bearing some crosses, witness to the love and compassion of the Lord. And who knows? You will inspire not only like that girl from Korea to become a Christian and become a theological consultant. You might be even able to encourage the Pope himself. The Pope just wrote to me before, and I got it before I came here. He said, I was very much edified and inspired by the faith of the simple people. Look at the power of witnessing. So I'm begging you, please, wherever you are, in your joy, in your sorrow, even when you're sleeping and snoring like me on the plane, don't stop witnessing to Christ. So maraming salamat